Yeah, that feeling, right? You stumble across a box, maybe up in the attic, full of old VHS
Oh,
tapes.
yeah. Instant nostalgia hit.
Exactly. But then that little worry starts,
Huh.
like, will these even play anymore?
Mm,
You might have your kids' first steps on there, maybe that amazing family holiday, stuff you just can't replace.
right. And the thought that those memories could just vanish.
Yeah,
It's tough.
it really is. So that's what we're diving into today. We want to figure out how to rescue those analog treasures, you know, make sure they last.
And it's such an important thing to talk about now because, well, lots of people are in the same boat. You've got these physical memories,
Yeah.
but the tech to play them is fading out, and the tapes themselves, they're not getting any younger.
So it's not just being sentimental, it's kind of a race against the clock.
It really is. But the good news, the really great news, is that actually doing something about it, converting them, it's more achievable now than it's ever been.
Okay, so let's talk about that ticking clock. These tapes, say from the 80s, the 90s,
Yeah.
how long do we really think they have,
Huh?
realistically?
Well, the general estimate people throw around is maybe 20 to 30 years for a VHS tape's lifespan.
Wow.
Now, that's a big range, obviously. How you stored them makes a huge difference, temperature, humidity, all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, if you've got tapes from back then, you're definitely in or maybe even past that window where degradation is a real risk. That magnetic coating, it breaks down over time, kind of like an old photograph fading.
That sounds pretty urgent then. But you said there's a positive side.
Absolutely. The amazing thing is how much easier and, frankly, cheaper it's become to turn that analog signal into a digital file.
Okay.
It wasn't that long ago you'd probably have to pay a professional service quite a bit of money. Now, you can basically set up your own little conversion station right at home.
Right. So, okay, someone's listening, they've got their box of tapes. What's the absolute must-have gear they need to get started? Let's break it down.
Okay, essentials. 3 main things. First, you obviously need a VCR that actually works. Doesn't have to be fancy, just reliable playback.
Got it. Working VCR. Check.
Second, a computer. And this is important. It needs enough hard drive space. Video files, especially uncompressed ones, can get pretty big.
Okay, decent computer storage. Makes sense. What's number 3?
Number 3 is the crucial bit. The analog to digital converter. That's the bridge between the old VCR and the modern computer.
Analog to digital converter? Sounds a bit
Yeah.
technical. What's it actually doing? And are there like go-to options people use?
Think of it like a translator.
Yeah.
It takes the old school video and audio signals from the VCR.
The red, white, and yellow cables.
Exactly, those RCA cables usually. It takes those signals and translates them into digital data your computer can understand and, record.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, there are some really user-friendly ones out there, like the Elgato video capture,
Yeah.
super popular, known for being pretty straightforward. Or there's the Roxio Easy VHS to DVD. That's another common one. Often comes bundled with software that kind of walks you through it. They make it much less intimidating.
Right, takes the guesswork out. So you got the VCR, the converter, the computer. How does it actually connect? What's the step-by-step?
It's actually a pretty logical chain. You connect the VCR's output, again, usually those red, white, yellow RCA cables, into the input ports on the converter.
Okay, VCR to converter.
Yep. Then the converter connects to your computer, usually just with a standard USB cable. Pretty simple connection there.
And once it's all plugged in.
Then you need software on the computer side to actually capture that incoming video stream.
Right, the software. Does that come with the converter typically?
Often, yes. That's a big plus for those devices like the Elgato or Roxio. They usually include their own software designed specifically for this.
Makes it easier.
Definitely. It'll usually show you a preview of what's playing, have a clear record button, nice and simple. Now, if you're more tech savvy, you could use something like OBS Studio, which is free.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
But honestly, for most folks just wanting to get their tapes digitized, the software that comes with the converter is probably the smoothest path.
So hit record on the computer, hit play on the VCR, and just let it roll.
That's the core of it, yeah. But a key thing is you don't just walk away. You'll want to keep an eye on the preview on your computer screen.
Why is that?
Just to make sure the picture looks okay, no major glitches, and that the sound is coming through clearly. Check the levels.
Quality control.
Exactly. And also, remember, a VHS tape doesn't tell the computer when it's finished, unlike a DVD or something.
Oh, right. Good point.
So you need to be there to manually hit stop in the recording software when the tape ends or when the content you want is done.
Okay, so it needs a bit of babysitting. Got it. Now, once you have these digital files,
Mm.
they might not be perfect, right? Maybe some static at the start or that blue screen at the end,
Absolutely. That's where editing software really comes into its own.
like Adobe Premiere or something.
Yeah, Premiere Pro is powerful, definitely. But even simpler tools like iMovie, if you're on a Mac, or DaVinci Resolve, which has a free version, can do a lot.
What kind of things?
You can easily trim off the unwanted bits at the beginning and end, maybe tweak the brightness or contrast a little if the picture's faded. You could even add titles, Christmas 1992 or whatever. It's your chance to really polish those memories up.
Nice. And what about just keeping track of them all? If you digitize a whole stack of tapes, you could end up with a mess of files called Video 001, Video 002.
Oh, yeah, organization is so important. Don't skip this step.
So what's the best practice?
Before you even edit, really, think about naming. Use clear, descriptive file names. Include the date if you know it, the event, maybe key people, like 1994-07 Family Reunion Grandma's Backyard.mp4, something like that.
Makes sense. Much better than tape 3.
Way better. And set up a good folder structure on your computer or ideally an external hard drive, maybe folders by year or by event type, like birthdays, holidays, vacations. A little planning up front saves a massive headache later when you're trying to find that one specific clip.
Okay, great advice. So, converted, edited, organized. Now, the big one, making sure these digital files actually last. How do we store them safely long term?
Right, because digital files aren't magically permanent either. The key is redundancy. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, meaning have backups. An external hard drive is a great start. Keep a local copy you can access easily. They do, yeah. So maybe not the primary backup, but perhaps another layer if it makes you feel better. The 3-2-1 backup rule is a good guideline. 3 copies on 2 different types of media with 1 copy off-site.
3, 2, 1. Got it. And what about sharing? Grandma probably wants to see that video of her birthday from 30 years ago.
Sharing is so much easier now. You can upload videos to YouTube or Vimeo, set them as unlisted or private, and just send the link to family.
Nice and easy.
Or most cloud storage services have sharing options too. You can grant access to specific files or folders. It's fantastic for letting loved ones relive those moments too, wherever they are.
It really is amazing how far home video tech has come. VHS really dominated for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. When VHS came along, thanks largely to companies like JVC, and, Sony was in there with Betamax too initially.
That's the format wars.
Right. But VHS ultimately won out for consumers, and it was revolutionary. Suddenly you controlled what you watched and when, recording TV shows, renting movies, and crucially, capturing these home moments we're talking about. It totally changed home entertainment.
It really did shape a whole generation's experience.
Which brings us to a bigger point, maybe. Why is this so important? Beyond just personal nostalgia, why should we bother preserving these old tapes?
Well, it connects to this whole idea of digital preservation. Think about it. These aren't just random home movies. They're slices of personal history, family history. Academics and archivists, people like Howard Besser, for instance, they talk about how vital it is to preserve our digital heritage. And that includes these personal records. They document culture, everyday life, family traditions in a way nothing else does. They're part of our story,
Yeah.
our cultural fabric, just on a very personal scale.
That's a really powerful way to think about it. It's not just clutter, it's heritage.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of VHS, I found a couple of kind of fun facts.
Oh, cool.
Lay 'em on me.
Okay, did you know that inside a standard VHS tape cassette, there's something like 4,410 feet of tape?
Wow, that much. That's like almost 4.5 football fields long.
Right. And depending on the recording speed, SP, LP, EP, they could hold anywhere from 2 up to 6 hours of video.
Incredible. All crammed in there. What else?
And get this. The last big Hollywood movie officially released on VHS was apparently A History of Violence.
No way. When was that?
2006.
Wow, 2006. That feels surprisingly recent, but also ancient history in tech terms. DVDs have pretty much taken over by then.
Totally. Marked the real end of an era for movies on tape.
That's a great bit of trivia.
Now, something you mentioned earlier sounded a bit scary. Sticky shed syndrome. What on earth is that? Should people worry?
Yeah, sticky shed. Well, it's a potential issue with older magnetic tapes, VHS included sometimes.
Yeah.
Basically, the binder, the sort of glue holding the magnetic particles onto the plastic tape base, it can break down over time.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it makes the tape surface literally sticky, and when you try to play it, that sticky stuff can gum up the VCR heads, or even worse, the magnetic layer can literally shed off the tape.
Yikes. Ruining the tape in the VCR.
Potentially, yes. It's more common with certain professional tape formats, but older VHS tapes, especially ones stored in damp or fluctuating conditions, can definitely suffer from it.
Okay, that definitely adds to the urgency of digitizing them sooner rather than later.
It absolutely does. And that really drives home the main point here, doesn't it? This whole process, moving from analog VHS to digital, it's more than just, keeping up with technology.
Right.
It's fundamentally about preservation, preserving your personal history, your family's narrative, making sure those unique, irreplaceable moments aren't lost forever because the tape crumbled or the last VCR died.
You're basically becoming your own family archivist.
In a way, yeah, you're safeguarding those stories for yourself now and for, kids, grandkids, future generations.
So as we wrap this deep dive up, the message seems really clear. Don't just leave those VHS tapes gathering dust. They're holding really valuable stuff.
Exactly, they're little time capsules. And the power to unlock them, to bring those memories into the present and secure them for the future, it's really in your hands now.
The tools are there, the process is manageable.
Absolutely, more accessible than ever. And the reward, I mean, keeping those voices, those faces, those moments alive, it's pretty priceless, isn't it?
It really is. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening is, take a look at those tapes you have stashed away. What laughter is on them? What milestones, what forgotten everyday moments are just waiting in there? What stories might be lost if you don't act? That's maybe the real motivation to start this journey.